Susie Wolff, the managing director of the F1 Academy, and wife of the Mercedes team principal, Toto, finally found the courage to institute legal action against the FIA for possible reputational damage arising from the alleged conflict of interest investigation, which the FIA opened and dropped within 2 days, in December last year. Mrs. Wolff claimed that she brought the action because there had been no transparency or accountability in relation to the conduct of the FIA and its personnel in her matter. But why did it take so long for the Wolffs to file the complaint, and where did they get the courage from? Before setting out how we concluded that the Verstappens and Red Bull got the Wolffs to take action in furtherance of transparency and accountability in Formula One, we invite those of you who haven't yet done so to like, comment, share, subscribe and click the notification icon to be notified when the next video is uploaded. Our regular subscribers and visitors will be aware of our opinion that, for the sake of transparency and accountability in Formula One, Susie and Toto Wolff should not have withdrawn their appeal against the theft of Lewis Hamilton's 8th world title in Abu Dhabi in December 2021. So, where did the couple who cried wolf for less than 2 days then find the courage to go to court now? Why are the Wolffs, who did not bay for blood, on the eve of the 2022 season, after the FIA published the result of their months-long investigation into Abu Dhabi, which found that Marcy had erred, but nevertheless upheld the result, without explaining why the stewards panel upheld Marcy's error, baying for blood now? Back in December 2023, when the couple threatened legal action against the FIA, many of us dismissed them as crying wolf yet again. So, where did the courage come from this time around? Before answering that question, we would like to point out to our new visitors that we have labeled 2024 the turnaround year. That is to say, the year when Manchester United will turn its fortunes around, and all those who profited from the theft of Sir Lewis's 8th title will start paying for it, alongside those who hounded Prince Harry and his wife, in an effort to get him to drop his lawsuits against the toxic media. So, the Wolffs joining the fray, and upping the ante, as Red Bull, Liberty Media, and the FIA are bickering and fighting amongst themselves so fiercely, is just destiny uploading. Our regulars will be aware that we have long argued that Susie's F1 Academy posting was part of the reward for her husband dropping his appeal for transparency and accountability in F1, back in December 2021. The conflicts of interest, arising from Susie working for the company that organizes the races that her husband's team compete in, are so obvious that it beggars belief that she can go to court to argue otherwise. Any reputational damage that she and her husband think they have suffered as a result of the FIA's short-lived conflict of interest investigation will pale into insignificance in comparison to the reputational damage that will come from bringing the case, fighting the case, and winning or losing the case. Bringing the case leaves the Wolffs open to accusations that they dropped the appeal against the theft of Sir Lewis's 8th title, because it was in their own selfish interest to do so. Fighting the case will result in a lot of dirty laundry being washed publicly. Perhaps, amongst other things, we will eventually find out whether Red Bull did point the finger or not. Winning will be a Pyrrhic victory, and losing will be worse. Neither of the litigants will walk away from the case without suffering serious reputational damage, so we urge Susie to stay strong, and see the case through to the obviously bitter end. Why are the Wolffs who did not bite in support of Sir Lewis, when their fangs were sharpest, in Abu Dhabi in 2021, now eager to bite when they have been defanged? Is it that they do not understand that by accepting the bribe of the F1 appointment, they have blunted their fangs? Perhaps, the Wolffs mistakenly believe that they are such paragons of virtue, that Susie is beyond sharing any confidential information she may come across through her job with her husband. That being the case, why should any equally virtuous judges, public servants, or affected persons be required to recuse themselves from any cases that may give rise to appearances of conflicts of interest? Perhaps, part of the Wolffs' defense will be restricting Susie's case to the particular conflict of interest that was the focus of the dropped investigation, rather than any of the other myriad of conflicts of interest that the FIA could have investigated, and can still investigate. Perhaps, the Wolffs will attempt to argue that, why is it only Susie that faced a conflict of interest investigation, when F1 and the FIA are havens of conflicts of interest. From the stewards who hold dealerships with engine suppliers, to the referees who hold shares in the refereed, or the broadcasters who are owned by the rights holders. Conflicts of interest are the norm, and not the exception in F1, so please Susie, hold them all to account. It is just a shame that until you accepted the 30 pieces of silver for betraying Sir Lewis, you were exempt from such allegations, but perhaps, you still see yourself as exempt, so the legal action that you are bringing should help clear the matter up, once and for all. Whatever the case is, it is folly for either of you to go to court, and with any luck you will both be heavily lawyered up, so we can enjoy the spectacle. Maybe, Susie and her husband are unaware that the Emiratis hunted the Wolffs into extinction. But, what they should be aware of, is that if they had not dropped the appeal against the theft of Sir Lewis's 8th title, they wouldn't be where they are today. This brings us to the matter of how the Verstappens and Red Bull got the Wolffs to howl at the moon. Well, the answer is simple. They gave the Wolffs Dutch courage. The Verstappens and Red Bull had the Dutch courage to howl at the moon back in Abu Dhabi in December 2021, and look how it worked out for them. It is rather fitting that the second anniversary of such a historic event should set the scene for the Wolffs, imbibing some Dutch courage to howl at the moon. With any luck, they will achieve equally outstanding success and introduce accountability and transparency into Formula One, and the decisions surrounding Abu Dhabi 2021. To name but a few. Of course, should the Wolffs withdraw this lawsuit, they will just be reaffirming their reputations.